Facebook, we are live again today with another episode of So That's How You Do It. My name is Stephanie Novinskis. I'm with Sizzleforce Marketing, and this is our show when we teach you how to get all of your marketing to-dos done the right way the first time. How about that? Okay, so as always, if you have caught any of our previous episodes, you know that we're broadcasting on multiple platforms, which means that I have to be looking at a whole bunch of different cameras. So bear with me depending on what platform you're on. I promise I will look at all of you at some point, but I do have to swap my eyes back and forth. So I am excited today because today we are going to be talking about the biggest mistake that brands make when marketing their businesses. There is one mistake that is overwhelmingly common, and it is something I've been doing this stuff for 26 years, you guys, and I cannot tell you the number of times I have seen businesses do the same thing over and over and over again. And I swear it is responsible for why so many businesses flop. You guys have probably heard the statistics before that most businesses do not make it past the first 3 years, if not the first 5 years. And yeah, that's super depressing. So we're on a mission to change that. We want you guys to make it, and not just make it a little bit. We want you guys to thrive and soar and really make your dream of business ownership, entrepreneurship, whatever you want to call it, absolutely come true. So if you have just joined us, I just want to make sure you guys all know that we are broadcasting on multiple platforms. So if you see my eyes going like this, it's because I have to look at a whole bunch of different cameras to make sure that we get on all the platforms. So please bear with any awkwardness that poses. And I can see on Instagram that my daughter has joined. So hi, Ella. I'm glad you have joined, sweetie. All right, you guys. So the biggest mistake brands make. Are you ready? Doing things out of order. Okay, now track with me here, my friends. Track with me. I get it. When you have a business, obviously you want to get money in the door as quickly as you can, right? And you want to get things cranking and moving and out there and, you know, all the exciting, fun stuff about having a business. Here's the problem. So many small business owners being all eager to get in there and make things happen, whether it's like, oh, I got to create my website, I need to get on Facebook, or I need to start doing this email marketing campaign, or, oh gosh, I need to invest in this sponsorship at this event. So many small business owners never take the time to create a really sound and strategic plan for how to market their business. Right? They just wing it, right? They wing it and they throw a bunch of spaghetti against the wall and they just hope and pray that something sticks. But you know what happens when you do that is you slow down your growth, okay? You think you're speeding it up because you're like, oh, I don't need to do all that. That's for the big, big companies, the Apples, the Coca-Colas of the world. And so you skip this and you're just like, I know everyone's on Facebook, so I need to be on Facebook, or whatever it is, right? Fill in the blank. TikTok is so trendy. I know I need to be on TikTok, okay? That may or may not be true for you and your business. And there are a whole lot of things that need to be considered to know where you really do need to be, okay? So I'm going to ask you guys to trust my 26 years of experience doing this and to take a step back from what we call tactical implementation. That's when you're spending all of this time doing all the things without a strategy, okay? I'm going to ask you to take a step back from tactical implementation so you can build the strategy that you need to really be successful. All right. So we're going to read a story right now. Okay. And it's actually a story from your childhood that you all probably remember, but it's so funny. Sometimes, the childhood stories that we read in the nursery rhymes, sometimes they're just like wacko. You're like, what were these people on when they wrote this? But there's one story that I think illustrates what entrepreneurs do so well. And I want to bring it back to your memory. So I'm going to take you into story time for just a couple of minutes here. If you are in a place where you can kind of sit back and close your eyes and just listen to me, then do that. If you're driving, please do not do that. So here we go. Story time starts now. Once upon a time, there were 3 pigs. The first little pig was lazy. He did not want to work at all, so he built his house out of straw. The second little pig was willing to work a little harder than the first little pig, but not by much, as he was quite lazy too. He built his house out of sticks. After the first 2 little pigs built their houses, they played and played and played some more. The third little pig was a very hard worker. And while the other 2 pigs rushed to build houses because they wanted to play, the third little pig worked all day but built his house out of brick. Now, it was strong enough to withstand any threat. One day, the wolf found the homes of the 3 little pigs. And he could smell the pigs living inside and wanted to eat them very badly. He tried to get the first little pig to let him into his house, but the little pig wouldn't open the door. So the wolf huffed and puffed and blew the straw house down. The first little piggy managed to escape to the second little piggy's house before the wolf could eat him. But it was an awfully close call. When the wolf visited the second little piggy's house, he said, "Let me in, let me in." But the piggies replied, "Not by the hair on our chinny chin chins." So the wolf huffed and puffed and blew the house made out of sticks down. The 2 little piggies narrowly escaped the jaws of the wolf again and ran straight to the third little piggy's house. This was the house that belonged to the piggy that built a brick house while the other piggies took shortcuts so they could play. The wolf came upon the third piggy's house and demanded that they let him in, to which they replied, "Not by the hair of our chinny chin chins." So the wolf huffed and puffed and tried to blow the house down, but it didn't work. So he huffed and puffed again and again and again and again and again until he couldn't huff and puff anymore. He could not blow the house down. Tried to get into the house through the chimney instead, but the 3 little pigs outsmarted him and ended up eating the wolf for dinner instead. Okay, I realize you guys are not in kindergarten, you're not preschoolers, and I just read you a children's story. But track with me here, my friends. We are all guilty of being one of these piggies. We all are as business owners, right? You're either the one that's built the straw house down, or you're the one that builds, I'm sorry, I should say you're either the piggy that builds the straw house, or you're the piggy who builds the house made out of sticks, or you're the piggy who builds the house made out of bricks. Question is, which one are you? If you have a very well thought out strategy, you are the piggy with the house made of bricks, the one that the wolf, in other words, your competitors, cannot blow down. If you are the one who is jumping into all of your tactical implementation before creating a really sound strategy, then you are building your house out of sticks and straw, and it is likely to be blown down by a competitor who's more strategic than you are. Okay, so that's the news, you guys. You need to build your house out of bricks. In other words, you need to have a strategy. Now, here's the thing though. It's not just building a house out of bricks. You need to lay your bricks in a very specific order. Okay. I often hear business owners tell me, oh my gosh, Stephanie, there's so many things I could do, and I don't know what to do first. I don't know where to start. How am I supposed to move this beast forward? There's too many things, too many balls to juggle, too many things they're trying to do. And I hear you and I get it. This is why having this strategy is so important. Because when you have this strategy, you figure out what really needs your attention and what needs your attention first. So, let me talk to you about the elements of your marketing strategy so you guys know. Okay. The first brick, so to speak, in your brick house needs to be an extremely detailed ideal client avatar. Okay. If you are not familiar with that verbiage for whatever reason, that's the same thing as your ideal client or your target market. It all means the same thing. Okay. So, your ideal client avatar, this needs to identify so many things about who you're trying to do business with. Yes, all the basic demographics, which, people talk about all the time, right? You need to know their age, you need to know their gender, you need to know their, all the different demographic stuff that's relevant to what you sell. If you sell like a service where you work on homes, let's say you own a local roofing company, then you're going to need to make sure that your ideal client avatar is a homeowner. Now, if you sell perfume, you don't really care if they own their house or not. All you do is care about if they like perfume and if they wear perfume, and most importantly, if they buy perfume. Okay, so your ideal client avatar has to address those demographics. And you guys can do a quick Google search and find all the demographic options and, fill that in. That's the easy part. Okay. The ideal client avatar gets more challenging when you get into psychographics. Okay. Psychographics are the behaviors, the thoughts, the choices that your ideal clients make. So, for example, it might be, do they go on vacation? If they do they vacation every year? And what kind of vacations do they take? Are they luxury vacations on islands in, the Bahamas, right? Or are they going camping at the local campground and sleeping it under the stars every night, right? Things like, um, what kind of cars do they own? Are they buying luxury cars? Do they buy fuel efficient cars like energy cars, right? Do they drive motorcycles? You're going to want to know things like, what are they afraid of, right? What is the threat? What's the bad thing that can happen if they don't have the solution that you sell? What is that fear that they have? Okay. Now, fear is a strong word. Sometimes people get a little jarred by that, right? Because, if you're selling life insurance, well, that's a legit big fear that people have of losing someone and not having the financial protection that they need to carry on living afterwards. However, some of you guys sell things that are not so life dependent, if you want to say, or life or death, I guess. Like if you sell jewelry, for example, obviously that's not a life or death thing. However, there's still a fear attached to it, right? I'm not going to look pretty when I do my next presentation, or all of my jewelry is super noisy and clinky and clangy. And so when I try to go on video and do a live, it makes a bunch of noise and then people can't hear me, right? So what you guys have to do is you have to understand their fears. You have to understand where they're at right now and where they want to be, right? So what are the pains that they're facing right now? And what is the ideal situation that's going to happen later if they buy your solution? Okay. So that's brick number one. identifying your ideal client avatar. And you guys need to go way deeper than what most exercises that you can Google are going to take you on, right? A lot of them are super basic and, they're a start, but you guys, if you want to build a legit business, if you really want to grow this into something that can support your family, your lifestyle, all of that good stuff, then you need to take these steps and go deeper, right? And this is one of the things that we teach you how to do in Sizzleforce Marketing Academy, which I can tell you all a little bit more about later. But that is, you can either learn how to do it yourself by attending what I call the University of YouTube, right? Where you just hope and pray that you can Google something or do a search on YouTube and find somebody who knows what the heck they're talking about and gives you the right information. Or you can do what we recommend for smaller businesses, typically, when they know they need to work with a trusted expert that has done this, who has been in the trenches, not for 3 months, but for 26 years, right? And then there's also the option to just hire an agency to do it all for you, which we also offer, but we'll talk about all that later. I just wanted to let you guys know right now, you do indeed have options. Okay, let's talk about brick number 2. Brick number 2 is identifying your differentiators. Super important. You know what? We live in a crowded, noisy world, and there is so much competition for every single one of us, right? You can throw a rock and probably hit one of your competitors. And so it is very important for you to not just know that your competitors are out there, but to A, identify who they are, and B, know exactly how you're different. Because if you don't articulate in your marketing messages how you're different, you're gonna look like everybody else, right? You're not gonna give your ideal clients a reason to do business with you. And probably your competitors at some point are going to outsmart you. And they are going to give people a reason. They are going to know the differentiators, and they're going to be the ones to articulate it and therefore get the business. So you've got to do a deep dive on what truly does make you different. Now, one thing I do want to make sure you guys know, one mistake I see people make all the time with identifying their differentiators is they make their differentiators things that are totally and completely subjective as opposed to being quantifiable. Okay. Subjective differentiators are not differentiators. Okay. I see real estate agents do this all the time. They say things like, we really care, and we really go the extra mile for you. That is not a differentiator. Everyone can say that. Everyone can, everyone will, right? You have to have quantifiable differentiators, things that can literally be measured and tracked. Okay, that's how you stand out. Okay, brick number 3, you need to identify your brand voice. Now, what's a brand voice and why should you care? Your brand voice is how you guys show up in the world, right? Whether you're doing a live like I'm doing right now, or you are writing a blog, or you are sending out emails, or people are coming into your retail store and having a face-to-face experience with your staff, or someone is calling your business and the receptionist is picking up. Your brand voice is something that needs to be very carefully and strategically planned, because your brand voice needs to be consistent everywhere, right? And chances are you have more than one person that is communicating your brand voice, assuming that you're not just a one-person shop. Now, if you are, well, it's a lot easier to control it at that point. However, when you are working with a team, whether you have a VA helping you, or you have a freelancer helping you, or you have an agency helping you, everyone needs to know what your brand voice is, so everyone knows how to show up. Okay, that's going to dictate how you write your posts on social media, even down to little things that you may think don't matter, but they really, really do, right? Things like Does your brand cuss? Right? There are some brands out there that they cuss their little hearts out, and it's part of their brand personality, and they attract a very loyal tribe of people who appreciate that. There are other brands like mine that do not do that. I don't like it, and I don't want to do it, and I don't appreciate it. So there you go. Okay. If somebody really wants a brand who cusses a lot, I'm not going to be the right brand for them to work with, right? There's a lot that goes into defining that brand voice. That's another thing that we can help you guys define if you become a member of the Academy or you work with our agency. Okay, your next brick is your brand promise. What's a brand promise? Brand promise is, you could think of it as your battle cry. Okay. If there's just one thing only that you promise the marketplace you will deliver upon, this is your brand promise, right? So we can think back to some famous ones. I always go back to the 80s because, well, that was the best decade ever. So I'm going to bring back some oldies but goodies to stir your minds up a little bit on brand promises. Do you guys remember Domino's Pizza saying your pizza in 30 minutes or it's free, right? That was a brand promise. Very short, very simple. You will get your pizza in 30 minutes or it will be free. The end. Okay. Other brand promises, M&M's, melts in your mouth, not in your hands. FedEx, when it absolutely positively has to get there overnight. Now, that's no longer impressive in 2021 because duh, we don't want it tomorrow, we want it in 10 minutes, right? But when this brand promise was first released, that was revolutionary, right? So you need to figure out, what's your battle cry? What is the hill you're going to die on before you let this thing not happen? Really important part of your strategy. Okay. Next one. And we have 3 more in case you guys are wondering. Okay. Next one. You need to create what I call your unique branded secret. Okay. This becomes a differentiator for you. So this goes hand in hand with the brick on differentiating your company. Your unique branded secrets is an acronym that is easy for people to remember, that identifies the steps you take them through when you're working with them. Okay. It's your promise, or it's your process. It's your process. Okay. So all of you guys have a process for what you do. You may or may not know what it is. You may or may not have ever actually written it down. It could all be right up here in your brain. You need to get some paper out if you're old school and a pen, or, create a new document on whatever device you like to use. And you need to think about, what is your step-by-step process that you walk people through to get the results that your product or service delivers. Also something that if you pick a really, really great name.
Can you hear me, Steph? You froze for a second there. You might want to back up just a couple seconds.
Okay. I don't know if I froze on Instagram or YouTube as well, but let me back up. Where did I leave off?
The feed froze.
Okay.
So the feeds on other places are just going to jump forward to where you were, but our feed in the streaming thing froze. You were just starting to talk about, you were talking about why you need to create your unique branded secret.
Okay. So your unique branded secret is going to become a differentiator for you, and that's why you want it. Okay. You can take your unique branded secret and you can actually get it trademarked if you pick a good enough name. I recommend working with a trademark attorney to make that happen. So, and yes, we can recommend a trademark attorney. In fact, I was on a podcast for one of them just on Monday. It's not live yet, but it's coming live soon. And so if you guys need a referral to a good trademark attorney, I can give that to you. But it is super important to take these steps, because when you say that you have the whatever process, let's say it's the bead process, BEAD. Okay. And for some reason that's relevant to what you do, right? When you say you have that and you trademark it, you now look like you have something really, really special. There might be other people in the marketplace that do something very similar. That doesn't matter, right? What matters is that your process is it is unique to you, and the name is unique to you, and you get it registered as a trademark so that you are the only one that can share it. Okay. Your next step is to craft your brand story. Okay. Every brand has a story. Now, I often hear people say, oh, yeah, but I don't have like the rags to riches story. My story's kind of boring. I don't think anybody would even want to hear it. To which I say, you know what? You have a great story. You might just not know what it is, right? You may not know what it is until somebody puts it in front of you and asks you the right question, and then formulates the story and shares it with you. We do this for our private clients all the time. We write their brand stories. And a lot of them will start by saying, seriously, Stephanie, I don't have anything interesting. I'm like, that's all right. Let me walk you through my questions. Okay, let's do the interview and let's see what comes up. And I always know we've hit a home run with the brand stories when I come back and I share it with the business owner or the CEO and they start to cry, which you would believe. I mean, it happens all the time. Like big gruffy men like will start to cry, right? Because a good brand story is really going to stir up the emotions and it's going to set your brand apart. So you need to figure out how to do that. Now we have a template that we're going to give you guys today for free. If you want some help, you can get it at sizzleforce.com/storytelling. And Amanda and Samantha are in the back running this stream. So if one of you guys wouldn't mind dropping that in the chat, that would be great. I'll say it again. It's sizzleforce.com/storytelling. Okay. Oh, and you guys can see it in the lower third. I know if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. I don't think we have that on Instagram. So SIZZLE like Frank ORCE.com/storytelling. Grab the free template and it will walk you through some of the essentials of creating your brand story. Okay. Just a gift to you because we love you. So there you go. All right. Your story, once it's written, just so you guys know, can be shared in so many different ways and in so many different places, right? You can have your full brand story appear on your website. It can turn into a wonderful video that you feature on your website, on social, all kinds of places. Your brand story can also be broken up into smaller chunks, and it can become a social media bio. It can become a networking commercial, all kinds of things it can become. The final brick that you need to lay in your brick house is to create your customer value journey. Okay. Now, you may have heard this term or you may not have. So let me explain. The way we do a customer value journey is a 7-step process, and it identifies everything that you do to make people aware that your brand exists. You have to think about all these steps, okay? Because every single customer that works with you, they start by learning that your brand exists right here, okay? And forgive my fingers from flying everywhere. I'm trying to make sure it works on all the cameras. So here's the little person who's walking into your world and they're like, oh, hey, I didn't know that brand existed, right? Then the next step is Now I'm forgetting the next step. They become aware and they engage with you, right? After they do that, you want to get this person on your list, right? You definitely want to get somebody in your database on a list so you can follow up with them. Because if you don't, here's what happens. You either are, connecting with them on social, or they're visiting your website or whatever, and then they get distracted or taken away by some other responsibility or something else in their life, and off they go, never to be heard or seen from again. If you get them on your list, you control the follow-up, right? You can email them. You can reach out to them on social. You can retarget them in your ads, all of those things. Okay, the next step is to make that first initial conversion with somebody, right? And this can look in two different ways depending on what type of product or service you sell. If you are higher end, right, selling like a high-end professional service, chances are your first conversion point is going to be converting time, not dollars. If you sell a product that's a lower price product, it's probably going to be dollars. So as an example, okay, let's say this is a charger I just got from Apple, okay? This is a low price product considering the span of Apple's price points, okay? I don't know, it's like 30, 40 bucks, something like that. I can't remember. And so that would be appropriate for this first conversion for them, okay? On the flip side, we have this, okay? This is not a low price point. And then we have the phones, and then we have the desktops, and then we have all the other things. So if you have a product, that's how it looks. If you have a high-end service, a conversion is more like time. Really what you're trying to do, because the chances of somebody buying a professional service that's at a high price point online without ever talking to a human are pretty low. So your goal is to just get them on the phone for a call or face-to-face for a meeting, right? So that's your next step in the customer journey. But how are you going to do that? Well, your customer value journey is going to help you figure that out. The next step is going to be nurturing these people, right? So once they have had that first conversion, they've either given you some time or they've given you some money. Now you got to romance the snot out of them, right? You got to love them to death. How are you going to do that? What's that going to look like? You're going to figure it out in your customer value journey. Then you move to the Ascension Phase, right? And this is where we take that first initial conversion that was low price, low commitment, and we turn it into a more profitable customer, right? What's the next thing that we sell that's a little bit more expensive? And then what's more expensive after that? And what is the pinnacle of everything that you sell, right? Now, not every single person is going to buy every product or service you sell, but you want to have this laid out because some people will, right? Your absolute right fits will. So again, when you work on your customer value journey, you're going to figure out what those things are. Then we get into the advocate stage, okay? In the advocate stage, this is when you're building up your social proof. This is when you're getting the videos with testimonials of people saying how happy they are that they bought your solution and how it changed their lives. Or they're leaving a positive review on Amazon, or they're leaving a nice review for you on Yelp, or whatever it is. This has to be an intentional thing, you guys. You don't want to just leave this to chance, right? So you have to figure out, well, where do you want your reviews and positive testimonials to be? And how are you going to go about getting them? And then the final step in your customer value journey is building up a referral plan. Okay. How are people going to advocate for your brand and sell it for you? What are you going to do? Are you going to have an affiliate program? Are you going to have a referral rewards program? What are you going to do? Well, I don't know. That's up to you to decide. Or you can get our help figuring it out if you join Sizzleforce Marketing Academy or work with us as a private client. Okay. Once all of this is done, then you are ready to jump into tactical implementation. Okay. Now you might be watching this being like, holy crud, I haven't done any of this. And I've already started doing tactical implementations. So what now, Stephanie? Well, the good news is in an ideal world, you will do it before you do anything else. But a lot of you have already done stuff, and it is never too late to do this work, right? So even if you're already out in the marketplace, even if you're already doing your thing, but you want to get better results, you want to attract more of your right fit customers, you want to slaughter your competition, right? You want to make a brand promise that makes you stand out in this really noisy world. You want to have a story that stirs people's emotions and makes them want to do business with you. These are all things you guys can work on now. So again, in Sizzleforce Marketing Academy, we teach you how to do it yourself, okay? If you become one of our private clients, we do it for you. We also have something called a Get It Done Day, okay? And a Get It Done Day is super cool because we spend one day together and we help you get all these things done, okay? It's amazing. It's so powerful. It's exhausting for everyone involved. But the next day, when you realize how much we accomplished in one day, it's literally months of work that we have a process that we've condensed into making it something that you can do in one day. Okay, getting this marketing clarity, getting this strategy, planning it all out and making sure it's done right so it works. You guys, this is what you need to do. If you don't want to be part of that statistic of the businesses who fail to make it, or the businesses that hang on by a thread but are really never profitable, right? There's a lot of those out there. We want you guys to be profitable and successful and happy and serving at your highest level capacity because you guys all have something super special to share and give. So again, if you guys want some help with your story, that's our free gift to you today. You can get that free storytelling template by visiting sizzleforce.com/storytelling. If you are interested in learning how to do all of this strategic stuff, plus a whole lot more when it comes to tactical implementation, I invite you to consider becoming a member of Sizzleforce Marketing Academy. You can find more information on that at sizzleforceacademy.com. Okay. Finally, if you are interested in scheduling a Get It Done Day with us so we can really fast track all of this for you, or you're interested in becoming a private client, schedule an appointment with me. Let's talk, right? I'll let you know when you tell me about what your business is and what your goals are. I'll let you know if we can help. And if we can't help, I'm going to be honest with you and tell you we can't help you, right? I did that just a couple of days ago to somebody. And she's going to go and work with somebody else that's a better fit for her, okay? If we can help you, you better believe I'm going to tell you we can help you. And then we can discuss all the details. So you can schedule an appointment with me by going to sizzleforce.com/schedule, right? So you guys, don't make the biggest mistake that most small business owners make. Don't be one of them. Do something different and set your business up for success. I hope this was helpful. We will be back next week with another training. I don't remember what we're talking about, but I'm sure it's going to be good. So you guys, if you have questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments. We will monitor them. We don't have time for questions live today, but we will monitor them after the recordings are up. So go ahead and drop your questions or your comments and we'll get back to you. And I hope in some capacity that we can help you, whether you take our free template and just get some stuff done and figure it out, or you watch the trainings for free and you just learn some stuff you didn't know, or you become a member of the Academy and get to join our community to get DIY help. We call it DI sort of Y because we're very much in the trenches with you, helping you figure it out. Or you become a private client or a get it done day client, I hope that we get to help you in some capacity. That's it for today. You guys have an awesome day, and we will see you again next